On this day, the world remembers one of the most iconic nights in football history, a night when two eras quietly brushed against each other under the bright lights of the 2006 World Cup in Germany. On one side stood a 21-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo, a young winger full of speed, ambition, and raw electricity. On the other stood Zinedine Zidane, the maestro of France, a legend in his final tournament, playing each match as if writing the last chapter of a glorious story. What happened that night was not just a football match. It was a passing of energy, a clash between youth and mastery, and a moment that defined the future for one and sealed the legacy for the other. The world came into this semifinal with high expectations. Portugal, led by Luis Felipe Scolari, had fought fiercely throughout the tournament. France, under the leadership of Raymond Domenech, had rediscovered their magic just at the right time. But the spotlight on this match was brighter because of two players, Ronaldo, the rising star, and Zidane, the retiring king. Ronaldo was carrying the hopes of a new generation, wearing the number 17, a fiery talent full of confidence. Zidane, with his calm presence and unmatched elegance, carried the weight of an entire nation, stepping into what he already knew was the final stretch of his career. The air was thick with tension when the players walked out of the tunnel. The stadium in Munich vibrated with chants, flags, and nerves. Portugal wore their deep maroon kits, France their classic blue, but the emotions were the same. This was a chance to enter the World Cup final. For Ronaldo, this was more than a match. It was a chance to prove himself on the world stage. For Zidane, it was a chance to guide France to one last dance, one last night of glory. From the first whistle, the match carried the intensity of two teams refusing to blink. Ronaldo, fast and unstoppable on the wings, immediately tested the French defense. His bursts of speed forced Lilian Thuram and William Gallas to stay alert. Every time Ronaldo touched the ball, Portuguese fans rose in excitement. His dribbling was sharp, his confidence obvious, and his desire to change the game was clear. But France had something Portugal did not: Zidane in full command. Zidane didn't run the fastest, he didn't shout, but every touch he made seemed to dictate the rhythm of the match. His vision, his passing, his grace, it felt like watching an artist painting in real time. Even though they didn't directly face each other much on the pitch due to their positions, Ronaldo and Zidane were locked in an invisible battle, one trying to rise, the other refusing to fall. Zidane would receive the ball, glide past a midfielder, and create space with a single movement. Ronaldo would receive the ball, accelerate, and threaten to break the lines. Every moment built anticipation, and every play felt like part of something bigger. The breakthrough came in the 33rd minute. Thierry Henry made one of his trademark runs into the Portuguese box. Ricardo Carvalho's challenge came a fraction too late, and the referee pointed to the spot. The entire stadium held its breath as Zidane stepped forward. He knew exactly what this meant. The responsibility, the pressure, the world watching. But his eyes remained calm. His posture unshaken. With a slow, confident approach, he sent Ricardo the wrong way and placed the ball into the net with the elegance only Zidane could produce. France were ahead, and suddenly everything became even harder for Portugal. But Ronaldo did not break. Instead, he pushed harder. He dropped deeper, demanded the ball, and took defenders one-on-one. His hunger was visible in every sprint and every attempt to create danger. The French defenders, experienced and disciplined, did everything to stop him. He was fouled multiple times, surrounded whenever he touched the ball, and pushed to fight for every inch of space. The more France pressed him, the more determined he became. In the second half, the match reached another level of intensity. Portugal pressed higher. Deco tried to create plays, Figo used his experience, Maniche pushed forward with power, and Ronaldo continued to be their primary weapon. At one point, he cut inside from the left, unleashed a powerful shot, and forced Barthez into a difficult save. The crowd felt the shift. Portugal were alive. The young Ronaldo was carrying the flame. But France, with Zidane at the center, managed the game wisely. Every time Portugal found rhythm, Zidane slowed the tempo. Every time pressure built, he released it with a perfect pass. He wasn't just playing football, he was controlling the mood, the momentum, the emotions of the match. Watching him that night was like watching a master perform on a stage where everyone else was just learning their lines. As minutes passed, Portugal's desperation grew. Ronaldo continued to run, challenge, shoot, and hope. He even took a dangerous free kick that flew just over the crossbar, a reminder of the talent that would soon define an era. But France remained organized, calm, and strong. In the final moments, Portugal threw everything forward. Scolari shouted from the sidelines, urging his players to push. Ronaldo made one final sprint down the wing, delivered a cross into the box, and for a split second, it felt like something might happen. But the French defense cleared it away, and with it, Portugal's dream began to fade. When the referee blew the final whistle, France had won 1-0. The stadium erupted with French joy and Portuguese heartbreak. What made this night unforgettable was not just the result, it was the story within the story. A legend nearing the end of his journey had outshined a rising superstar who would soon dominate world football. Zidane walked off the pitch with the calm dignity of a man who had nothing left to prove. Ronaldo left the field with tears in his eyes, not just from defeat, but from the overwhelming emotion of realizing how far he still needed to go. Yet this is the beauty of football, defeat sometimes builds legends more than victory does. Ronaldo took this loss personally, but not negatively. It fueled him. It planted a seed of hunger deeper than ever before. That night, as Zidane walked into the tunnel with the world admiring him, Ronaldo walked into the same tunnel with a fire inside him that the world had yet to fully see. He would return to future tournaments stronger, smarter, and more determined. This moment of pain later became one of the foundations of his greatness. For Zidane, this match was part of a perfect farewell tour. He had eliminated Spain, Brazil, and now Portugal, three giants, guided only by his brilliance and leadership. France moved into the final, where Zidane would write another unforgettable chapter. For Ronaldo, the 2006 semi-final became a memory etched in his journey, one that taught him resilience and shaped the mentality that would eventually make him one of the greatest players in football history. Today, fans look back at this night with nostalgia. They see a young Cristiano Ronaldo, eyes full of ambition, challenging the legendary Zinedine Zidane, who played like a king giving his last performance. It was a unique moment when talent met experience, when future met present, when dreams met reality. This match was not only a semi-final. It was a moment of transition between generations. Zidane was stepping off the stage, leaving behind a legacy of grace, intelligence, and mastery. Ronaldo was stepping onto the stage, carrying fire, power, and a new style of football that would redefine the sport. The world didn't know it then, but the boy crying in the tunnel would one day become a five-time Ballon d'Or winner, a Champions League icon, a national hero, and one of the most complete footballers the sport has ever seen. The night in Munich remains a reminder that every legend has a beginning, and every legend has an end. Zidane's end was poetic. Ronaldo's beginning was electric. And football, as always, gave us a story that continues to inspire, even years later.